Welcome to Yacht Femme, where we talk about the women that make the yachting industry. I'm your host, Andrea Tagliaferro. Learn who they are, how they got into yachting, and what they do today. Meet Jelena Vezia, a yacht broker at Ocean Independence in Monaco with 13 years of experience in the yachting industry. Specializing in both yacht sales and charter, she expertly manages transactions and curates bespoke charter itineraries. Fluent in 4 languages, Jelena holds degrees in economics and management, international tourism, and economic international relations. Originally from Kazakhstan, she has lived in France and Monaco for 16 years, blending technical expertise with creativity to deliver exceptional client experiences. Hi everyone, welcome back to Yacht Femme. I'm here joined with Jelena Vezia from Ocean Independence. Jelena, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi, Andrea. Thank you very much for having me. I'm Jelena and I'm a sales broker at Ocean Independence.
Can you tell us what it is? How did you get into the yachting industry? Let's start with that one.
Well, it's a long story, but I will try to make it short. Nothing really foreshadowed my career in yachting. I've been studying economics and management, and as a master's degree, I graduated with a foreign policy officer's diploma. But the planets did align in certain way in 2012, and this is when I've been headhunted by 2 companies, one in the south of France and one based in the UK, for a position as a junior sales broker at France and Monaco. And this is how it all started. And at the time, I thought it's a sign from the universe, and I have to try and pursue this path.
I actually was very curious when you said you were headhunted. What did you study and where were you located that they found you and they found that your background would be a great fit? And obviously they were right. So where were you at the moment?
I've been living already in France at the time. Yes, I forgot to mention that originally I'm from Kazakhstan. So I first started in Poland, and then I moved to France and Monaco in 2008. So yes, at the time I just graduated with my master's degree, and I've been based here in the south of France. And the first company that had tried to headhunt me, it was the headhunter was based here in the south of France. And the second company, it was Marine Resources. They were based in the UK, and they do still exist. And they found me on LinkedIn, and I remember, I think we had the interview on Skype at the beginning, and then I met my first boss here in Monaco a couple of days later.
This is not a sponsored podcast from LinkedIn, just so you know. Can you tell us what would be your daily task? What does your day look like as a charter broker and a sales broker?
Well, there is no identical day in the life of a yacht broker, because obviously we've got many things that we have to perform, and my day, it depends very much on my agenda. I think this is the beauty of this job, because you can tailor make your day depending on what needs to be achieved on that particular day. So obviously we have a lot of physical meetings. We have to go and meet clients, new clients, existing clients, B2B partners, and captains, and all sorts of people from the industry. But we also have to do a lot of administrative work with, in the current world of CRM and obviously all existing social media platforms. You have to create content, then you have to edit content, and you have to source all the social media to write articles, to write different posts, podcasts, we obviously have to go and visit the shipyards. This is the direct connection with the shipping, with shipyards who build the boats. So we need to keep up to date on the latest models, to meet the surveyors who, for example, supervise the yacht that you haven't built, keep on the top of all your central agencies. So the list is non-exhaustive. It's very long and it's never the same. And obviously, as a charter broker, you can be part of a really cool farm trips, which I've done recently, and that was amazing. It's also part of our work, where you familiarize yourself with the boat, and you just meet the crew, understand more about the product which you will try to charter and sell to your clients. And obviously yacht visits, it's part of our work as well. And soon it will be nice and sunny in Monaco, and we will start having all the open days, and we go on board boats so we can familiarize ourselves with the products both for sale and charter, and then propose them to our clients.
At least from where I stand, that I'm not in a brokerage. I always understood that people were either charter brokers or sales brokers. So the fact that you're both, for me, sounds very unique. Is that true? Is it unique? I haven't met many that do that, because people tend to describe people that fulfill the charter broker position to have a specific personality, and the ones that are in sale a different one. But you are doing both.
I'm
And
a
for me, that
hybrid.
you're a hybrid, and it sounds complicated because people have gone out of the way to tell me how different these two roles are. So how come you do both?
Yes, actually, I think it's a right combination for me, because this is my personality. I have on one hand, it's when you want to do something fun and you want to develop itineraries and to become a little bit more creative, it would be difficult to achieve these as a sales broker, because sales brokers are really more about technical and legal. And I started initially as a junior sales broker at Sunseeker Monaco, and this is how I've been trained to sell boats. And then when I transitioned to Ocean Independence, I decided to try myself as a charter broker from the family perspective point of view. And I did try myself on the charter side as well, which in fact did work well. But then also I had all my clients from the sales side who started to to come back, and at the end I ended up doing both. And I think this is the right balance for me, because it just helps you not to get bored, never get bored. But also sometimes you have to be more patient for sales, and because the sales process is very long, building a new boat is very long, and it just helps you to stay motivated, and something is constantly happening with charters. And I think, yes, this is really the right balance, at least for me. And so both parts of my brain, the creative one and the logical one, they do work simultaneously.
I thought that was a great explanation. I didn't know that sales, but of course it makes all the sense after you explain it. It's a longer process, and then in charters you can have more clients in charter, or more sales of a charter, I guess, if you can say it that way. You keep mentioning Sunseeker before and Ocean Independence. So how long have you been with Ocean Independence, and can you tell us a little bit about what it is, the culture of working with them?
Yeah, I joined Ocean Independence in 2016, so it will be 9 years this summer. And before, I've been in charge of CIS desk at Sunseeker, and this is where I started my career in yachting. And obviously, Ocean Independence today is a big company, big name in the yachting industry. And when you work for a big company, you have to respect the corporate side of it. We are having 16 offices globally. We are present in all key locations in the world, and yes, and it comes with big responsibilities come with the big names. So we do have policies in the company that we have to respect, that we have to follow. And obviously it helps also everyone to understand where we are going to, what are our targets as a company. We all have the same goal, which we are trying to achieve all together. And yeah, we call it Agenda 2025, which in a couple of weeks will be renewed because we are in 2025. This is a sort of compass of behavior and targets we need to achieve. And I think, yes, it's the right strategy.
13 years that you've been in the yachting industry. I'm sure you've seen and you've had many great wins. Can you share one of those wins, one of those days that you felt that this was a big accomplishment for you within the industry?
I think it's difficult to choose only one day because, every sail is unique. Every sail is difficult. There are no easy sails. If we talk about sails, every charter is unique as well, because there are no two similar, even similar, I would not say identical charters, because we are all different. Clients are different, boats are different, captains are different. So I would talk about my recent experiences. So on the charter side, I've just returned from an amazing trip to Costa Rica. It was a Femme trip on board, I think, the most iconic boat in the industry, Christina O, owned by Onassis and his family. So this was an amazing experience. That was the Femme trip was attended by the top charter brokers, and I was truly lucky and excited to be part of it and discover beautiful Costa Rica, which was my first country in Latin America. And on the sales side, we have just announced a global partnership with Jengrasa Group at the Düsseldorf Boat Show 10 days ago. And this is it's also a milestone, because it's not just a project, it's going to be a partnership between Ocean Independence and the new name in yachting, because Jengrasa Group, they've been in the industry for over 17 years, but always as subcontractors. And now they are starting to make their own path in yachting with the new lineup of boats. And we are confident that they will succeed, and we will be helping them to create their own brand, and just to help them on the commercial side to develop the name and make sure that everyone is familiar with their new lineup of boats.
I do love that you gave us both one for your chart, one from one side of your brain and the other one from the other side of your brain.
We will be having it in Cannes, so you'll have to come on board and check it. We'll be having it at the Cannes Boat Show. You have your invitation now.
Thank you. I will be there, so I'm very excited to jump on board. I actually was following your trip to Costa Rica. It looked very idyllic. I have to be honest, and this is so embarrassing. When you said fam trip on your social media, I thought it was family trips, like not familiarization trip, because for me, FAM means family. But either way, actually, when I would see those familiarization trips for charter brokers on social media, I would think like, this is the best selling point to get into this career. Like,
this is the best selling point to become a charter broker.
For sure, you have this experience that people pay millions for, so you actually know what you're selling. So
yes, but it is amazing. It is truly amazing.
So in the 13 years you've been in the industry, I'm sure you've seen many changes. So can you tell us what changes have you seen so far in the industry?
I would definitely want to talk about the gender equality, because at the time when I started 13 years ago, there were hardly any women in yachting. I can only remember a few names from that times. And I still remember when I started, a client coming to the desk asking for a broker. And I've been presented as his broker, and he would re-insist saying, I would like a sales broker. And I would say, this is me. And you could see that the, that was not quite normal to have a female sales broker at the time. But thanks God, you know, these times now are over, and we are seeing more and more women joining the industry, especially on the sales side, because charter has always been very much female, represented by a lot of female charter brokers, and sales has been always male dominated. Now I think no, these times are evolving quite fast. We can see more and more initiatives supporting women in yachting, more and more different events, breakfasts that you organized last year at the Monaco Yacht Show. Then also Rose Diamond, you know, she has been she has been organizing the Women in Yachting event now, I think, for 5 years. Every year at the Monaco Yacht Show, we are having a get together, meeting the key women in the industry. And I think this is spectacular. And also it's important to mention that the number of female high net worth individual clients increased in the past decade by 11%. And it is extremely important to have female sales brokers to deal with these clients, because I still do believe that women understand other women better.
I can definitely see feeling more comfortable with someone.
Yes.
I think it's I forgot the statistic. It's the reason why Airbnb became famous. It's sort of like you overcome that fear or that big purchase if the person you're dealing with looks like you, or you have find some similarities in the other person. You start like lowering your guard and do feel a little bit more comfortable. So
Sure.
I definitely think you do need females in representing sales. But something that I've heard quite often from brokers is when they tell me, well, I know this guy is interested. And I always ask, how do you know he's interested? Because he came back with his girlfriend, or he came back with his wife. If the wife didn't like it when she came back, the deal is off. So I've heard indirectly women have been buying yachts for a very, very long time. So even now that you say that it's 11%, or now they are actually holding the money. Before that, there were also influencing the decision of the purchases of these yachts.
Indirectly.
But I'm happy to hear that it's more female. I have seen more women in the sales brokers. Still not a 50-50, especially when you're talking about the super yachts. I have seen more female sales broker in, owner operated vessels, like under 70 footers, but it's just great all around to see more women out there on the docks in sales. What is your vision for the future of yachting? Where do you see the industry heading towards?
I think, I will not be different from many others, saying that yachting is becoming more conscious of environmental challenges. Obviously, our planet is facing the global warming, and we at some point we had to think about it as an industry as well. So it's a very hot topic, the sustainability. It's a big subject at every conference I attend. No matter where we go, we always hear sustainability. Sustainability is it's important, but it's also important to explain that if we look at it from the yachting perspective, and it was a very good insight from Claire Fernandier-Sicard from Ethic we had at the New Generation conference last summer, that we have a still have an issue, you know, because there is no budget for it, because everyone wants to be sustainable, but not everyone wants to spend money. Again, today we had the meeting with a shipyard in the office, and I asked how much would it cost to put the hybrid propulsion, and hybrid propulsion is 1,200,000 euros more expensive than the standard propulsion. And the shipyard told me a very honest answer, that the client needs to understand that in terms of fuel consumption, it is, you know, in this particular case, the fuel consumption was 100 liters an hour, and you would not save a lot of fuel, but it's obviously, you know, in terms of propulsion as itself, it's a much better option for the environment. But would that owner want to spend over 1 million to become greener? That's a really good, you know, 1 million question, because it's always down to our clients. We can always try to, you know, to explain, and obviously this is our role. But when it comes down to figures, not everyone wants to spend that money. And even when we were discussing with Claire about the management, you know, even there is no line in the budget for sustainability, not even line in the management budget. So the real question is, yes, we want to be sustainable. Are we prepared to spend more money on that? I cannot, for now, you know, we always have these very hot discussions and topics, and let's see how the situation evolves. It's one thing, and the other thing, I think, obviously, the new generation of yachts, that was quite a huge step forward with all fuel cell technologies. That obviously we have 114-meter Lewis project Cosmos inbuilt with fuel cell technology, and San Lorenzo last year, the Monaco Yacht Show, they introduced their brand new 50-meter. Again, this is a huge step forward. However, we need to understand that the infrastructure is not ready, because you still need to refuel boats, and there is no place where you can go. In the case of San Lorenzo, they will be going back to the shipyard, so it's not very convenient, not for everyone. So you cannot go very far. And I think this is the fundamental question: how can we become greener without infrastructure? So we first need to build the infrastructure, and that all the rest will follow. And obviously, you know, people need to understand that clients, managers, and everyone in the industry, that sustainability is more expensive, and everyone has to be ready to spend more money.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how in the car sector they did that, because it was definitely, especially in the beginning, you had $100,000 cars that are now worth $30,000 cars because technology. So they depreciated 100,000, and just to throw like imaginary numbers out there, but you see that a lot. However, it became a fad for them to own the latest technology, and the latest technology was sustainable technology. So let's see if the new generation actually gets us there faster. I think there's no question that we will get there. Like you're saying, there's no conference that we attend in the maritime industry that we don't talk about how sustainability and its technology is advancing. But as you pointed out, we need the client to adopt this mentality. I think it seems like all the professionals in the industry are convinced that this is definitely better for all of us, but let's see how that actually trickles into the clientele. I'm based in Los Angeles, and when you were talking about global warming, we have had fires for, I want to say, over 3 weeks now.
Yes.
So, and there's a lot of high net worth individuals living between here and New York. So who knows? We don't really know what what's going to happen after this, how the mentality is going to shift, how much more are they going to actually get behind sustainable approaches and thinking of of the earth first. Let's see if that actually helps. But regardless, like you were mentioning, the new generations, the millennials and the Gen Zs that are now acquiring and inheriting that wealth are thinking more sustainable. So it's
I think there
more.
will be a shift, but yes, it's not imminent. You know, we cannot reinvent the wheel that quickly because you need time to build the infrastructure. And we will get there eventually, but it has to be also from the owner's perspective, because obviously there are owners that are very much into sustainability and are obviously conscious of all the environmental issues, but you know, at least the vast majority of from what we see, you know, and from what we hear from the shipyards, we are not quite there yet. And yes, let's hope that it's going to change.
Um, Moving away from sustainability and then all these great advances that we hopefully will see sooner rather than later, I actually want to know a little bit more about you. Can you tell us something that maybe the audience doesn't know or you haven't posted on LinkedIn?
Yes, I'm not posting a lot about my private life because I do really like to have two separate accounts, because I think it still has to remain professional, and this is the way I handle it. So yes, I have two sons. My oldest son is 10 years old now. He will be turning 10 actually in March, and my youngest son is turning 4 in 2 weeks' time. So I think this is the biggest challenge for me, to find the right balance between being a successful charter and sales broker and still remaining a loving and tender mother of two wonderful boys. And they obviously want a lot of attention. And when you are there, they want you to be there and not to be glued to your phone all the time, sorting out, you know, problems. Yes, I think, you know, it's important and I think for all women in yachting, it will be always the biggest challenge, how to find the right balance between, you know, being successful in your career and still being successful in your family life.
It's
And
definitely
happy, successful and happy mother.
well, I am not a mom, and it's still a challenge to be present and not be glued to your phone. It happens to me, and I'm sure everybody else. It is a very international in the industry. So you may have said, okay, I'm having family time now at 7 p.m. However, the client that just woke up in Dubai wants an
Yes.
answer right now over sale that you've been working on for the last 2 weeks. So we're not even on the same time zone. So we're not even taking rests and breaks at the same time. So it makes us feel, or at least personally, it makes me feel like I'm always on. And when I get a mini break, because I am in Los Angeles, and all of a sudden when what stops buzzing and I don't have emails, I realize, oh, Europe's asleep. I get a break. Let me go to the gym. But it's definitely
Well,
really
that's the
hard
main
balance.
challenge. Exactly. And it's so
Yeah.
like with everything in life, as you say, yes, to be present at the moment, and not only with kids, but you know, with your friends and family, because we all have heavily families and friends. And yes, and I think, you know, as every human, but especially women, we do have more challenges.
I will not disagree with that.
And you
And
know,
what do you
not to
think?
have this everlasting feel of guilt that you are not doing good here or there. That's the main thing.
Well,
So
an advice for people, even though I hope you don't take it, is when you are burned out, the guilt goes away because your brain cannot add guilt to your mental, to your head burning. So, I don't recommend burnouts, but I will tell you the guilt goes away because you just cannot handle more. Can you tell us maybe an advice to your younger self, maybe advice you would have wished you had received if you were starting off in yachting now?
no, don't go there. That was freaking hard. So yes, the advice, you know, I think to myself, it's good that I didn't know how hard this industry is, because back then, it was all nice and shiny and sparkly, and you can only see the positive side of it, and you cannot think about achieve where you are. But yeah, I'm super happy of having achieved what I'm having today. Would I do it again today? Probably yes. But yeah, I'm happy that I have 13 years of experience now behind me. And to the younger generation, probably I would say that yes, this industry offers a lot of opportunities, but you need to be ready that you will be working hard. It's not only, it's only not sparkling as it might look from the outside. You do have challenges. We do work hard with no hours, as you said, in different time zones, very often under pressure, because you want to perform, you want your clients to be happy, you want them, when they go on their charter, have the long lasting memories with their family, because we know how precious their family time is. So we do feel big responsibility, even if many people say like we work in the fun industry. For sure, it's a fun industry, but it's a fun, responsible industry. You nearly need to be responsible. And when we build boats, it's even more responsibility. We need to make sure that everything goes well, that that the boat is delivered on time, that everything on board is as per the technical specification, that we have the right crew in place who will be looking after clients, and yeah, and a lot of other challenges on the sales side as well. So yeah, get ready to handle the stress, to work without any working hours, and yes, to be available 24/7. So I think yes, the stress resistance really the key in this industry. So you really need to know how to handle the stress, and then you will be really a happy broker, and you will make people happy.
I think we don't consider so much learning and training in soft skills. And I know soft skills are not stress and balance, but it is management, communication, and other stuff, that it's not just hitting your milestones and sales. But I completely agree. It's very glamorous, but it's a lot of work. I have people laugh at me with my Instagram story, especially on my last Monaco boat show, where I always have like some cream on my face. And I actually went back to the Airbnb multiple times in the day, and I would just stare at the wall to recuperate so I could continue going. And I was shocked that no one else needed to do it but me. But the reality is, for me to actually perform, I need to have those quiet moments. So it's accepting what do you need to do to gain balance and to continue, because many times it's a sprint, but at the same time it's a marathon. So it's definitely a lot of work. Glamorous, but
A
a
lot
lot
of
of
glamorous work. Yes.
So it's like you're not allowed to complain. Yes, I will be complaining. I am very tired. Well, thank you so much for this great conversation. I don't want to this to end before you could tell us how can we continue following along on your journey?
How do you mean in terms of social media? You can
Yeah, if
follow
I
me
want to
on
stay in,
Instagram
yeah, if we want to stay
and
in touch, how can we
LinkedIn.
stay in touch?
Yes, yes, I'm available on Instagram under the name The Yacht Girl, and obviously I'm available on LinkedIn, so where you can connect with me, and I'm posting a lot of content on both social media channels, and we are also currently developing this new project with the John Grasser Group, where I'm sure we will be sending even more information to the industry in the next couple of months. And yes, I'm also looking forward to seeing you at the Cannes Boat Show on board this new yacht, which we will be presenting. And it will be a pleasure to meeting you in person and everyone else.
Thank you. I'm very excited. And thank you again for sharing. It was very educational for me to learn so much about your past. We didn't even get into the fact that you studied economics and management, international tourism, economic international relationships, are from France, from Poland, and you at least speak you're at least trilingual. So there's a lot of stuff that you have
Four,
done.
yes, four
Four,
fluent. Yes,
four,
Russian, Polish, French, and English, and a bit of German and a bit of Italian. So
you know, a few here and there. Uh, Thank you again for your time, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
thank you, Andrea, for having me, and see you soon. Bye bye.
Thank you so much for listening to Yacht Femme. If you like what you heard, please like, subscribe, and comment. Your comment will help us reach a broader audience. And don't miss the next episode. Bye!